My sister and I never really got along. She's 5 years older than me. I wanted to be her friend, but she was so mean to me. You won't believe the mean things she has done to me. But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any more crazy stories. It all started the day I was born. Mom and Dad rushed to the hospital the morning I was born. My sister Louise stayed at home with my grandma. Later in the afternoon, Grandma brought Luis to see me. She took one look at me and said, "It's a boy." "Yes," smiled Mom and Dad, "meet your baby brother Joe." "But I don't want a baby brother," wailed Luis. "I want a baby sister." From that moment on, she never let me forget that she wanted a baby sister. Whenever I tried to play with her, she would tell me to go away. "You can't play this game," she would say. "This game is only for girls." Louise sometimes had her friends over to our house to play. They would go into her bedroom and shut the door so I couldn't come in to play. One time, Louise was playing tea party with her friends. She had plates with cookies and glasses of lemonade. I wanted to play too. I pushed the door open so hard that I tumbled into the room and fell on top of the plates and glasses. Louise started shouting and crying. Mom came running upstairs. "Oh, what have you done, Joe?" she asked. "He's ruining everything, Mom," cried Louise. With that, Mom picked me up and took me downstairs to sit in the room with her. It wasn't fair. I told Mom I was only an accident, but she didn't believe me. Sometimes Mom would ask Louise to play with me while she made dinner. I was so happy, but Louise didn't speak to me. She just put the TV on and ignored me. Louise had lots of friends because she went to a big school with a lot of students. I couldn't wait to start school. Then I would get lots of friends too. Finally, the day came. My first day at school, I woke up early and ate my breakfast. Mom told Louise and I to get into the car while she locked up the house. As we waited for Mom, I smiled excitedly at Louise. "Don't think you're going to hang around with me and my friends," said Louise. Mom got into the car and we drove to school. When we arrived at the school gates, Mom said to Louise, "Make sure you look after Joe." "Yes, Mom," replied Louise, smiling at Mom. But as soon as we went around the corner, Louise ran off to her friends and left me all on my own. I felt scared and I didn't know where I was supposed to go. Why was Louise so mean to me? I couldn't help being a boy. At lunchtime, I went to see if I could find Louise. She was sitting with a group of her friends in the corner. They were laughing and looked to be having so much fun. As I went towards them, Louise pointed and said, "That's my little brother. He's such a baby." Her friends all started laughing at me. I felt the tears welling up in my eyes. From that day on, I made sure I stayed away from Louise and her friends at school. By the time we were both in high school, Louise and I didn't really speak to each other at all. She spent all her time in her bedroom. I didn't know what she did there, but she was very secretive. One time, I walked into her room and she was writing in a book. As I came in the room, she hid the book under her pillow. "What do you want?" she shouted meanly. "Get out of my room!" I couldn't stop thinking about that book. I wondered what it was she didn't want me to see. One Saturday morning, I had my chance. Louise had been invited to sleep over at her friend's house the night before. Mom had gone shopping and Dad was outside doing some gardening. I slipped into Louise's room and started looking around for the book. I couldn't see it anywhere. Then I remembered. She had hidden it under her pillow. I ran over to her bed and lifted her pillow. There it was. I opened the pages and started reading. It was her secret diary. Most of it was pretty boring. Of course, she complained about me a lot in it. But then I hit the jackpot. I turned the page and read the words, "I think I'm in love with Jake Brown." I started laughing to myself. Boy, she was going to regret being mean to me at school. I couldn't wait to go to school on Monday and tell everyone what I'd read. Monday morning came, and Louise was being her usual mean self on the way to school. She was telling me how boring I was and how she was so cool. I didn't really care. I smiled to myself as I walked into school. As soon as I got in, I started telling everyone that Louise was in love with Jake Brown. It wasn't long before the whole school was talking about it. Everyone started teasing Louise. When we got home from school, Louise ran straight to her room and slammed the door shut. I heard her crying, but I didn't really care. After all, she had done lots of mean things to me. And anyway, she had no idea it was me that had told everyone. It was about 2 weeks later when I came home from school to find Louise on her computer with her bedroom door open. As I walked past, she smiled at me and called out, "Hey, Joe, come in here." I was surprised, but I went into her room. "Have you heard the news about this new virus going around?" she asked. "No, what is it?" I replied. She started to tell me all about this strange new virus. "It gets inside your body and starts eating you from the inside out," she told me. It sounded terrifying. I hope I don't catch that virus, I thought to myself. I didn't want something eating away at me. I was a growing boy, or that's what my mom was always telling me. I had always had a good appetite, but recently I was eating a lot more. That night, we sat down for dinner. It was Mom's homemade spaghetti. I loved it. I piled a huge pile of spaghetti onto my plate and started munching away while watching TV. I looked down at my plate. That's strange, I thought. I've eaten that huge plate of spaghetti, but I still feel hungry. The same thing happened the next night, and then the next. I was eating so much food, but I never felt full. Then my heart sank. I suddenly realized why I was so hungry. I must have caught the virus. What was I gonna do? But then surely there could be another explanation. Of course, I was a teenage boy. Everyone knew that teenage boys were always hungry. I laughed to myself. I was fine. The next morning in class, I was daydreaming about the huge burger I was going to have for my lunch when my best mate Mike whispered to me, "Have you seen the new girl?" "No," I replied. "I'll introduce you at lunchtime," he said. The lunch bell rang and we raced down to the school cafeteria. We bought our burgers and looked around for a table. "Over there," said Mike, pointing at a table where 2 girls were sitting. We walked over to the table and the girls looked at us. "This is Julie," said Mike. "She's the new girl." I looked at Julie and was about to say something when I felt it. The blood drained from my face and my heart skipped a beat. I had felt something moving inside me. Oh no, it was true. I had caught the virus. I left my burger and ran from the table. I was panicking. I couldn't eat my dinner that night either. All I could think about was this virus inside of me. I told Mom I was really tired and wanted an early night. I went up to my room and lay on my bed. It wasn't long before I had drifted off to sleep. Suddenly, I woke up. It was the middle of the night and I could hear a strange noise. Something had woken me, but what was it? That's when I realized the sound was coming from inside me. It was as though I could hear something eating away inside of me. I couldn't get back to sleep. I just lay in bed listening to the strange sound. That's when I knew I had to do something about it. The next morning, I told Louise all my fears. I told her everything that had happened to me, and she agreed. It definitely seemed like I had all the symptoms of the virus. I would have to go to the doctor. "Oh, you don't need to go to the doctor," said Louise. "I have a portable x-ray machine. We can see inside your stomach." Louise went and got her machine. I thought it was strange that Louise would have an x-ray machine, but I was desperate to see what it would show, so I ignored the concern. She pointed it at my stomach and my face fell. There, clear as day, you could see this strange object moving inside my stomach. That's it, I thought. My life is over. I told Mom that I wanted to go see the doctor. I told her that I had caught a virus and something was eating away at me from inside. At first, she thought I was joking, but once she saw that I was serious about it, she said she would make an appointment for me. We went to the doctor's office. I told him all about my symptoms. "Okay, let's take a look at you," the doctor said. The doctor listened with his stethoscope to my stomach. He couldn't hear anything unusual, but I convinced him that he should take an x-ray. After the x-ray, we sat in the doctor's surgery. The doctor looked at my mom. "I think Joe may be suffering from stress," he said. "The x-ray's all clear. There's nothing wrong with Joe." Mom looked relieved, but I knew the doctors had missed something. I knew I couldn't just accept this fate. I needed to do something about it. I started researching how to kill something inside you. I couldn't actually find any information on this virus, but I knew that my only chance would be to poison it. I didn't tell anyone, but I decided I was going to make my own poison. I started collecting all the things that I would need to make my poison. The day came when I decided I could take it no longer. I was in my room plucking up the courage to swallow the poison when Louise came up the stairs. She barely glanced at me, but I wanted to tell her what I was about to do. I'm going to kill the virus by drinking this poison, I told Louise. I picked up the glass of poison and put it to my lips. I was about to swallow it when Louise shouted, "No, Joe, don't drink it. You haven't got a virus. It was me all along." I looked at Louise questioningly, and that's when she told me the truth. "It was me that ate all your food," she said. Louise went on to explain that the reason I was still hungry was because she had been sneaking the food from my plate when I wasn't looking. She had found out that it was me that told the whole school she loved Jake Brown. She wanted to get a revenge. "But I felt it moving inside me when I saw the new girl," I said. Louise smiled. "That's just butterflies," she said. "Everyone gets those when you see someone you like." "And I heard it in the middle of the night," I went on. "I put a sound machine under your mattress," Louise explained. "I'm sorry I've been so mean to you." I was so shocked by this sudden turn of events, but I had to admit, it was also wrong of me to tell her crush that she liked him. "I'm sorry I told everyone your secret," I replied. Louise smiled. "It's okay. I think we're even now, don't you?" I nodded and we hugged. After that, we got along just fine.